In an ancient vision, a voice emerges from blinding light, declaring, "I am the Father, I am the Mother, I am the Son, I am the undefiled and incorruptible One." This bold proclamation, found in a secret Gnostic scripture, introduces us to the Autogenes, the self-generated emanation of God. Why should a modern soul care about a cryptic figure like the Autogenes? Unlike familiar creation stories with commanding patriarchs or warring gods, the birth of the Autogenes is an internal act of love and reflection. The invisible spirit doesn't fashion the universe from clay or rib. It emanates it from its own being. The Autogenes shines as a living paradox, both a child of the infinite and as source itself. At the pinnacle of the radiant, Pleroma, the fullness of divine life, lies the invisible spirit, the monad, the One, an indescribable God beyond all names. From this unknown source emanates Barbelo, the first thought, described as the mother-father and the womb of everything. Barbelo is both womb and intellect, reflecting the spirit's glory. The essence of Barbelo is aware of its own self. From its waters, it births the only begotten one of the Father, the pure light. This divine offspring is the Autogenes, meaning self-generated in Greek. Surrounded by four holy lights that arise to attend him, the Autogenes remains fully one with the source. Here, the invisible spirit, mother-father, Barbelo, and son, Autogenes, form a divine family triad in harmony. The Autogenes is the shining extension of God's own being, the fullness stepping forward as offspring. For Gnostics, the Autogenes was not made by command or by a craftsman. He emerged when the invisible spirit turned inward, and from that reflection, light appeared. One text describes it simply. He looked at Barbelo, and she conceived from him. He begot a spark of light, the only begotten child, the pure light. The Autogenes is self-generated, because nothing outside the Godhead caused his birth. No demiurge, no material process, only the Spirit. This is why the Gnostic scriptures call him Christ. In the secret book of John, we read, "Through the Word, Christ, the divine Autogenes, created everything." Here, Christ is both the one who is born and the one through whom all things are born. It's a paradox that Christianity later smoothed over, but the Gnostics lingered on it. Christ as the child of God, and yet also the moment God reveals itself. Creation as an act not of hierarchy, but of God experiencing itself as itself. Just as Christ is self-generated from God's fullness, so too the deepest part of us does not come from the world. Beneath our histories, beyond family or circumstance, there is a spark that simply is. The mystic Zostrianos describes being baptized in the name of the divine Autogenes by those powers upon the living waters. It wasn't about adopting a faith, it was about awakening to what was already there. In the same way that the invisible spirit recognized itself and light unfolded, we too recognize ourselves by looking inward. When we truly see ourselves, the light within us unfolds, a reflection of the God realm breaking through. The Autogenes became a symbol of memory, a reminder that at our core we are not shaped by the false rulers of this world, but by the same fullness that generated Christ himself. To say Christ created itself is also to say, the light in you doesn't need permission to exist. It is its own origin. So, the Autogenes stands as a paradox, self-generated, yet always of God. He is the archetype of divine self-recognition, and within us too there is a spark that doesn't need to be made, because it already is. But the Gnostic story doesn't leave him standing alone. The texts say that when the Autogenes took his place in the Pleroma, 4 great lights rose up to attend him. Who were these radiant beings? And why did they surround Christ like pillars of light? That is a mystery we will step into next time.